Psychological warfare is the planned tactical use of propaganda, threats, and other non-combat techniques during wars. Threats of war, or periods of geopolitical unrest to mislead, intimidate, demoralize, or otherwise influence the thinking or behavior of an enemy. Is that enemy us? Kind of seems like it right now. I like to paint a scene in the future. I'm going to make this video a little bit shorter than yesterday's. Nobody has time. Have you and your wife stopped hugging yet? Have you grown skeptical of your children? Has your mother stopped giving you kisses on your cheek? This is a couple months ahead. And the games, the bread and circus has continued. The pandemic is gone, but the effects are everywhere. You want to go to a local college basketball game. I like the Spartans. So you pay online. And by the way, you're hoarding cash now. And you keep most of your cash at home and not in the banks because you've grown weary and skeptical of the system. But nonetheless, you have money in the bank and you pay online. When you show up to the arena, you're scanned for weapons and your temperature is taken and your mouth is swabbed for health concerns. Along with your name, it goes into a database. Maybe later on during the game, you'll be escorted out. And that'll cause panic to the people sitting around you, if they are sitting around you. I believe that games will be spaced 1 seat apart. You won't be charged for 2 seats, but I will believe that you'll have to sit in a seat and you'll have to have an empty seat on either side of you. People are going to be obsessed with personal space there and in line. Social distancing is going to be a very unpopular popularity. Personally, every time I was in line, I always thought it weird when people stood too close to me. I always gave the person in front of me about 5 feet at least. And I always was cautious of the person that was standing really close behind me, like that would improve the speed time of the line. So we've got no cash, cash hoarding, scanning for weapons, scanning for biohealth concerns, and credit at concession stands. Maybe you get a wristband when you get your ticket that just puts all the payment onto your card. So there's no exchanging of even cards. Cards are going to be a thing of the past. PIN numbers, probably going to be a thing of the past. Why would we want to touch anything? Touchscreen technology, kaput. I believe you'll have like some type of hover screen technology that will detect where your finger is, and you will conduct your business that way. Face mask future. Hope you're ready for those iconic Chinese scenes of people donning face masks because of pollution or other health concerns. Mandatory sanitation stands that will be building code for every public place. Per feet, you will have sanitation stands, whether it be hand sanitizers, facial wipes, stuff for blowing your nose, special trash cans for tissues. Another thing I've been thinking about is hard surfaces. Personally, I thought it was a good idea to cover my leather couches with blankets, and all my hard surface tables in my house besides my kitchen counter with blankets. They say it only lives for a couple hours on blankets, so I figured that was a proactive thing I could do around my house to lessen the cause, or lessen the spread, excuse me. I believe that the team and the coaches and the cheerleaders and the referees will be tested just as much as our beloved pornography actors, since they do interact quite close with each other on the battlefield. And that's what I woke up thinking about this morning. What life will be like. And it's kind of concerning. A couple other points I wrote down is I've always been nonchalant and blasé about things. I wonder if that's akin to social or stoicism. But I couldn't help but have a little bit of panic in me when I went to the grocery store and seen no beef, no chicken, no meat products, a little bit of bacon, hot dogs. But I was supposed that by now, that was 3 or 4 days ago, that's all gone. No toilet paper on the shelves. I have a bidet. Another proactive thing that I jumped on the first day of the toilet paper extravaganza. And I can't help but think about collective panic. There's something to be said about collective consciousness. Families that pray over their sick, they tend to have a higher rate of getting better. I don't know how that study was conducted, but I heard it. Could be wrong. But a woman can trick herself into believing she's pregnant, and her body will actually grow certain things that would indicate a pregnancy, and otherwise impossible scenario. Placebo effects. You can trick yourself into being better. There's people that can trick themselves into just thinking the epitome of health, and cure their own cancer. These are proven things. I don't know how to cite things on YouTube or put links in the description yet, but I promise I will learn. I'm going to keep doing these whether people watch or not. I believe it's good for me. It helps me when I talk to people in real life. And I think thinking is good for anybody. This is the second time I took the video. The first time, my notes were all over the place because when I think of something, I have to jot it down immediately. Otherwise, it gets lost. Like chasing a rabbit through a heavily wooded forest. So I have to write it down immediately. But normally they don't relate to each other. So it just started with me jumping all over until I made up this scenario about the college basketball game. So it's good to write things down, formulate a thought, and nail down what you think. And then be open to be proven wrong. Because after all, when you're proven wrong, you're smarter at the end. Right? That's a good thing. A lot of people hate the people that prove them wrong. But I wouldn't, in an intellectual sense. Who doesn't want to know the truth? I mean, except when you're going to die. I don't know if I mentioned cough attacks. I think that's part of the psychological thing. I think it's disgusting. Both physically and psychologically. Another psychological aspect of it is the pets. A few days ago, I told somebody about how I thought that household animals were going to be able to get this. And it was going to increase the panic. And much to my surprise, 2 days later I read in an article that the second dog has gotten it. So not only do you need to isolate yourself from your family member, you got to isolate yourself from your best friend in the world. And they don't understand why. When my grandmother died, her dog would dig under the door until she had nail problems. Her claws. It was so sad. We ended up putting her down. Excuse me, I was too young at the time. My elders put her down and we buried her with my grandma. It was sad. And I keep thinking about the spread. Everybody's heard of the 7 degrees of separation. Even I have a friend that plays hockey. And he did on the West Coast for a while. And I'm sure he's taken plenty of pictures with celebrities here and there. And I'm sure one of those celebrities has worked with Kevin Bacon. So I'm only 1, 2, 3 people away from Kevin Bacon. Maybe even 2. Maybe he's taken a picture with Kevin Bacon. I know one time somebody said to him, "Bye, Felicia." And he sent back a picture with him and Ice Cube with a caption that said, "Bye, Felicia." It was the coolest way to get dissed, when your buddy sends you a picture of him with Ice Cube. Pretty cool. So I guess that's it. Thanks for sticking through. I'll try to do this more. I'll try to get better. I'll try to put links in the description. I'll try to do more research. A couple more things. Why not? Be prepared for the internet to slow down with everybody streaming. I know that's a bummer. But like I said, print off everything you know about gardening, about medical triage, food storage, building shelters, water pumps, irrigation, whatever you think, whatever you just go to your Google history list and print off all the answers. Because at one point in time you wanted to know. I'd be printing off encyclopedias and everything, getting binders together, and you can always burn the paper. I would say start recycling more. Go out of your way to recycle cardboard and paper products. The last thing I want to happen is for all our trees to be cut down because people bought too much toilet paper. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So stop burning your boxes. Start ripping them up, throwing them in trash bags, take them to your local shop, or if you have a recycling service that picks them up, please be vigilant about it. I love trees, and I know you do too. Another thing I was thinking about this morning was children and birthdays. I don't think there'll be any blowing on cakes anytime soon. And that whole thing has always boggled my mind. We go to a birthday party and great grandma, great grandpa, no, who's got a great grandpa? Really? So great grandma, grandma and grandpa, mom, dad, all the cousins, brothers and sisters. You go gather up the dirtiest little shit you got. And you sing him happy birthday. He's been digging in his pants the whole time, picking boogers. Probably picking other people's noses too. And then you have him blow all over a cake. You cut that cake up and you give it to everybody in the family. I almost wonder if it's not like some ritual that we go through just to share diseases, to build immunity. I've never wanted to shake in my friends' hands so much, man. I see them and I go for it, and it kind of makes me angry. Anytime a friend sticks his foot out or an elbow. I wonder where the handshake comes from. I think, if I had to guess, we shake with our right hand, which is predominantly a dominant hand for most people. So I believe when we wave, it's to show that we are unarmed and we come in peace. I believe that's what the wave is. So if you were coming over a hill in a time long, long ago, and you wanted to know if the other person was friendly or not, friend or foe, I believe if you wanted to be left alone, you'd probably raise a sword. Or if you would like to meet, maybe trade, you would say, my dominant hand is unarmed and I come in peace. I wonder if shaking hands is a way to put your dominant hand in the other person's hand to sort of relinquish your power to them and them to you. Meaning, if something goes wrong when we're this close, at least we have control of each other's dominant hands. I don't know, just speculation. I guess that's why they call it philosophizing. Should follow up with study. So, have a good day. Stay safe. Cover your tables with blankets. And don't let it get you down. Think. Do not become compliant, but stay vigilant. I think that's one of the reasons why they haven't locked down the whole country. Because if they did, there would be a lot of civil disobedience. So don't let anybody tell you what to do if it's wrong. Do what's right. And respect people's privacy and boundaries. You might have a different theory or ideology about the virus, but if somebody is going through a process where they don't know about it or they are skeptical of everybody, let them go through that. But you can talk to them. Don't accost them, but talk. Reason. The implementation of truth and information has always swayed my mind. I'll leave it with that.